All right, Jeff Ditsworth, welcome to the Happy Hustle podcast, my brother. I am super stoked to connect.
No, thanks so much. I am too. This is going to be fun.
Man, I first found out about you from Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast. You crushed it. And I was so drawn by
I think we're losing you a little, buddy.
Can you hear me or not?
Now we're back. It's
All
windy.
right. I got the Montana wind just destroying my cell service, so my Wi-Fi. But talk to us a little bit about how you turned your passion into a profession. What was your inspiration behind Pescador on the Fly, this amazing company?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because it's, a lot of times you start a business based off self-serving needs, if you will. And I'm a corporate executive, and I travel all over the country for a living, meeting with clients and meeting with their clients. And it's one of those things where I love fly fishing, and I would always want to bring a fly rod with me. And at the beginning, I would bring a normal 4-section fly rod with me on the plane, and you're lugging it in there with a suit, and they're great, but they don't really travel great. I mean, a 4-piece rod is not really a travel rod. So then I found these 7-piece rods, and they were super easy to travel with, but I hated fishing them because they felt like a telephone pole. So I stopped bringing them, and I stopped fly fishing when I traveled. And that was a bummer because, it's great to decompress after the day, and there's great fishing opportunities everywhere you go all over the country. So then maybe 5 years ago, I decided to say, if I could get out to the market and find some companies and some factories that could build from the ground up a great travel rod, a great packable rod for backpacking or anything like that, it's just easy to pack with and easy to travel with. And after a couple of years of R&D and quite a bit of money, I was able to bring one to the market that I would love to fish with. And I generally fish with really nice stuff. And I think it's kind of a great little niche in the market because I'm able to bring a really, really high quality rod, make it super compact, and have it cast just as good as a normal 4-piece rod.
Yeah, so true. I actually got one of your fly rod combos, and I am super stoked with the quality and just the overall feel and look and just what you get for the price. I knew I had to bring you on the Happy Hustle podcast and share your story, share your product. But also, I love that you're a corporate executive currently right now for a financial services business and actually still have this amazing side hustle that, scratches your personal itch first and foremost, but also others. Talk to us about your corporate, executive background and kind of, what your actual, quote unquote education is in.
Yeah, so I have a degree in finance, and I also have a degree in transportation and logistics. Now, the logistics one is kind of a long story. Don't really use that one a ton, but the finance degree is I work with a lot of financial planners and financial advisors. And generally what I do is I help them incorporate specific strategies into their practice to help them increase client value as well as enhance their own revenues as an entrepreneur. And what I'm able to do here in my call it your side hustle, if you will, is I'm very disciplined time management, and I have very, very low overhead. So the fact is I can concentrate on what needs to be done to grow this business, Pescador on the Fly, in the mornings and in the weekends in very, very small time blocks, and still stay efficient in my day job, right?
That's so awesome. I mean, time management is crucial. Do you have any tangible tactics for time management that you could share with the Happy Hustlers?
Probably the biggest thing that I do that I hear people talk about, but I don't see people actually do it, is time blocking. And the ability to have concentration on one single task at a time during those time blocks, you can knock out things with way better productivity than multitasking. Because you can't really concentrate on 3 things at the same time, but you can focus on one with laser-like focus for 30 minutes, and you'll have better output than if you worked on it for 2 hours being distracted by email. So I have blocks in the morning, every morning, with specific tasks that I do every single week, and I just knock it out.
In terms of, let's say the Happy Hustlers listening, maybe they have currently a day job, but they
Yeah.
want to turn their passion into a profession. What is like the first step?
All right. Well, you cut out for a second, but you asked for the first step. So, I mean, the first step is really trying to figure out something in the market that might be slightly different than what's already there. Because, it's nice to, there's a lot of companies out there that are Me Too companies, right? And you can build a great value proposition, you can build a great following using, your unique personality or whatever. But I always think it's very important to have a niche and just observe, right? So just observing the world around you and finding out, I like fly fishing and I like, call it backpacking, and I wanted to be able to bring something super easily with me wherever I wanted to go, whether I'm hiking up in the mountains or jumping on a plane. And maybe there's a couple out there that were doing that, kind of, but there was nobody focusing on it. So that's where I dove in. But it's all about the niches, as we were talking about before.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if someone's listening to this right now and they want to, escape the 9 to 5 grind, but are afraid, maybe that fear is holding them back, what would you say to those people?
So the way I look at building a business, and the failure rate for business owners and people that start business is pretty high, right? So I wanted to make it a little easier on myself and really look at building this over a 10-year period. Very, very slow growth, using sales and profits to fund future growth, and instead of trying to go all in with a massive amount of inventory at the beginning or massive amount of products at the beginning. Expanding slow, to me, helps you do it on the side, and then eventually when your revenues catch up a little bit, you can start looking at maybe 5 years in, I'm gonna have enough income coming off this side hustle where I can walk away from my day job should I choose. But to me, it's all about flexibility, because if you build it to be turnkey, and if you build it at the beginning to function really without you on the day-to-day basis, you can do it on the side and keep your day job. So there's all the flexibility you want. But the way I look at a business and owning my own personal business and having my own income stream that I control, to me, that's an incredible diversified asset. I mean, we all probably invest in stocks and that type of thing, and that's great. But the only asset that I can invest in is really myself if I want to completely control it. I mean, as we talked about before, you can learn just about any skill you want these days with all the information out there. And I can't even tell you how many skills that I never thought I'd even close to know that I've just learned while I'm on a run or on a bike ride or something like that in an audiobook or driving. It's awesome what you can learn these days.
That's so true, man. And I love those takeaways too. What was your first hustle? I ask all my guests, what was the first thing you did for money, Jeff?
Jeez, that's a really good question. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to think if I could even say these on camera right now. Probably
Right.
they were illegal. But I remember in college. I remember in college, probably before I was 21, selling beer to people at football games. But that's a long story from a long time ago. Or I should say, I don't remember that. Right?
Right.
That was somebody else. It was somebody else's side hustle. It wasn't mine.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
So
I don't
Jeff,
know. I probably sold some other stuff when I was a kid, but never had anything significant. But always had the spirit in my mind. Just never had the idea.
well, who would you say, Jeff, instilled that spirit, that
I lost you again for a second, but I think I got the gist of your question coming from really who instilled the entrepreneurial spirit, and it's my dad. I mean, my dad, he ran a CPA firm for 40 years here in Des Moines, and he's been a great influence on me. And he's all about ownership, and I think he's all about control, and he's all about being in control of your own destiny. And maybe I waited a little long to start my own business, but I got it now, and it's been a blast to have and to grow. I think I lost you again for a second.
something about yourself that not too many people know? What's that special something?
Oh, special. Jeez, I wasn't ready for that one, man. I can't use the same one I used with on Entrepreneurs on Fire, so I got to use something different. But that one was that I changed my major 4 times in one day before you can actually do it online, where I had to walk somewhere to do it, which is kind of funny, but just shows how important that was back in the day. Anyway,
Yeah, right.
something interesting with me that not many people know. I'm insanely competitive, and I always got to have some sort of sport that I'm playing. Right now, it's tennis. I think I told you a little bit ago that I was able to extend my soccer playing career up until 2 years ago, and I broke my ankle. But we're out of that one now. So probably just an insanely competitive spirit. I don't usually let that out very often publicly, but it's inside and it's burning a lot. So.
Yeah, well, tennis is a great sport, and we both share soccer in common. I played my whole life growing up, and love the sport, and it's a great way to stay healthy, stay active, stay fit.
Yeah, for sure.
So is fly fishing and getting out there in nature and connecting to this beautiful planet.
Yep.
In terms of health, I always like to take away tangible take homes for the actual happy hustlers to apply. What is something that you utilize to optimize your health? Maybe a tactic or a tool that you could share with the happy hustlers.
So I'm going to tell you one that I keep very personal to myself, and it's down to being able to decompress from day-to-day life. And this is also going to be a plug for Pescador on the Fly at the same time. So I'll see if I can make these in tandem. But to me, there's no sport quite like fly fishing, where you can get out into nature and you can go to a hike to a place that nobody else is at, and you can get away from people. And the thing that I think is the most beautiful thing about fly fishing is it's impossible to think about worries or problems or your job or whatever, because there's about 3 to 7 elements anytime you're fly fishing that you have to get right each time you're out there. And if you don't get those three things right, you're gonna mess up in the fishing aspect of it. So to me, being able to concentrate on those 3 to 5 things fly fishing wise, it totally makes it impossible to think about problems in the outside world. So you can truly decompress. And I don't think you can do that with any other kind of fishing. I don't think you can do it on the golf course. I think fly fishing is just about one of those things. So I encourage everybody out there that needs to relax a little bit and needs a little peace of mind. And the other thing is great is trout don't live in ugly places. So get out there and find some trout, and you're going to be in a great place. You know that.
Yeah. That is so funny. Trout don't live in ugly places. Love fly fishing. It's super meditative for me, and it just calms my whole. What? For your spiritual side, Jeff, do you have a tangible tactic besides fly fishing that you use, or a spiritual practice that keeps you centered?
It's I go off and on. I've done a little bit of meditation in the mornings during the week, and I think that kind of gets me grounded right when I wake up. I wake up pretty early, and that's kind of like the first little block in my morning routine that I hit. And to me, it just, I don't know, it centers me a little bit and gets me to a place where I can get going. But that's usually the first thing I do in the mornings early.
Yeah, meditation's huge. I mean, just taking a couple breaths, being still. A lot of people are just so hustle and bustle and not still.
Yeah, 10 minutes. And if I'm having a rough day and I'm getting stressed, I'll do it in the afternoon, and it works every time.
Yeah, it's a great break for workflow to just get back to center, breathe, and be present and still. So love that. In terms of entrepreneurship, do you have a happy hustle hack, will you, for, growing a business?
See if we could get a little hack out there. The thing that I think I would say is that time blocking, I mean, I already mentioned it, is almost everything. And being able to effectively really identify call it 5 to 8 things that you got to do on a weekly basis or a daily basis, and building a system around that so it happens automatically. Yep. I think the systematizing your daily routine, your weekly routine, your monthly routine So it just happens is probably the most important thing of running a business in my mind, and making sure you don't miss anything, right? And I do that in every business that I've ever done, including my quote unquote day job. It's all systematized, so I don't miss anything. I don't miss a good opportunity. I don't miss a client meeting. I don't miss a client phone call. I don't miss a contact. And to me, systematizing everything is pretty easy. And it's not necessarily, you have all the tools inside of your smartphone to do it. So it's not like you have a big investment to make.
Yeah. Do you use any specific software or like calendars, apps that help
You
you?
know, I haven't. I've used it a few times. Like, everybody's got Outlook, and that's great. But to be honest, I'm incredibly simple, and I use the reminders tab inside of my iPhone constantly. Like, my life revolves around my reminders. Like, I have on there to floss at night, right? It's like, it's that, right? So it's like I just have all these things that happen in a systematized basis, whether it be social media posts or whether it be paying royalties or anything like that. It's just in there, and that's my system. I think there's some great apps out there. I just haven't bought any, because what I have is good enough. I'm very, very simple. I don't like things complex at all.
Yeah. I mean, the systems will set you free. All the happy hustlers out there who implement heed that advice, guys. You got to create systems in your business, in your life. In terms of finances, Jeff, I know you're a financial guy. You have a background in finances. What's maybe a couple happy hustle hacks regarding finances, maybe to save, invest, or spend wisely that we could implement?
I think, go back to what I said a little bit ago about systematize it, right? So it's important in life to spend a little and save a little, because I don't think you're going to be happy if you're just socking away every dollar you make. So you got to spend a little, you got to save a little. That's a little lesson that I got back from my dad back in the day too. And it was my son's birthday on Tuesday, and when we FaceTime Grandpa, that was his advice to Max about his birthday money: spend a little and save a little. So it was kind of funny that you just asked that question, but that's huge advice. But systematically investing is insanely important, and make sure that you're doing it on a systematic basis. I think that's important. And then I think it should go without saying, but don't spend more money than you have. So I've never spent $1 on credit card interest, and I never will. And but I use credit cards every day. So staying within your means until you get to the point where you can buy it. I'm not a big fan of buying stuff on credit. I don't like debt. Some people do. It's just personal preference. But make sure that you're living within your means, no matter what the Joneses next door are doing.
Yeah, that's great advice. Save a little, spend a little, and really systematically invest. Do you have any tools that you use to systematically invest?
No, I mean, just my own company 401k plan. That's primarily how I invest, in some systematic things like that. But I manage my accounts through my financial advisor, and we meet systematically in a scheduled basis, like everybody should with a financial advisor, just to make sure you're on track. But yeah, that's about it.
Great advice there, Jeff. In terms of, being debt free, I love that you brought that up, because I think you can use debt effectively, but you can also over leverage yourself to the point where you just are drowning in debt. And me personally, when I paid off all my debts and my student loans, it was liberating. Now I live debt free.
Yeah,
I buy my truck, motorcycles, everything, debt free. If I don't have the money for it, I won't buy it.
Right.
So I think it's the best way to live. And I love that you brought that up. And I see that trend in your business as well, with Pescador on the fly, bootstrapping it from the beginning. So that's a great takeaway.
I started out with seed money, and I said, I'm going to invest this much money in the business, and I got it going. And now I haven't put seed money back into the company for probably 2 years. And it's all, new inventory gets done from a systematic basis based on revenue that comes in. And that's how I grow, right?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and a lot of people you see, soliciting funding from venture capitalists or angel investors, and then you're
Yeah.
beholden to that particular investor's money and prerogative. And I've come close to taking 7 figures from a VC fund in my
I believe
tech
it.
startup.
And it's tempting, and it's one of those things where, to me, I don't think that's the wrong approach for everybody, but it's not the right approach for me, because I don't want to be so leveraged that if one event happens that is bad in the economy for 6 months, what does that do to me? Am I gone, or can I survive it? And not having any debt, I don't know if any companies aren't going to the bank to borrow money right now to buy more inventory, but I'm not doing it, and I don't need to do it. And it's a very, very good place to be for a small business.
Yeah, so true. I mean, right now, interest rates are at historically low, and the assets are rising because the demand is there, but the supply isn't, especially in terms of the housing market. You know, my fiance and I are looking to buy a house.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now. And it's like they predict another housing crash in 2021 because of it. So, you know, all the happy hustlers out there, you need to heed this advice with Jeff and don't over leverage yourself. Spend wisely, you know, save a little, spend a little. Obviously, we're all here to happy hustle and enjoy the experience, but do so within your means, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's a great point, and one that I just wanted to parrot because, you know, I see a lot of people kind of getting caught up on the gram, you know, with the Lambo life, and then they're like,
it looks really fun, man.
It does.
The other thing is there's no shortcut to success in this world, and I don't care who tells you they got a $25,000 deal that's going to make your business blow up in 6 months. It ain't real. From my experience, I haven't seen it. And if I saw it, I'd buy it, but I've never seen it. And I may have tried a few of those at the beginning, and they didn't work out so well for me. So maybe I'm jaded. But I don't think there's any shortcuts to the top, man. It's stairs for a reason. There is no elevator. So you got to take the stairs, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's like my good buddy Rory Vaden's book, Take the Stairs, New York Times bestseller. I mean, you got to take the stairs, happy hustlers out there listening. There's no shortcut. You got to put in the work day in, day out, persistent consistency, and it will pay off, right? You won't lose if you don't quit.
Right, there you go. There you go.
So, Jeff, this has been awesome, man. You know what I want to really highlight, though, about you and Pescador on the Fly is the customer service. Talk to us a little bit about your philanthropic aspect to customer service and how you go above and beyond for your customers.
You know, to me, I almost laugh sometimes. I get some of my comments where somebody will shoot me an email and say, hey, you know, I just had this problem with the reel, and I don't know how to fix it. And I'll message them back pretty quickly, and they're just shocked that they got a human being to reply to their email. And I laugh about it. I'm just like, is it really that weird to actually reply to people's requests? But apparently it is. But I mean, I'm on the phone with people probably a couple times a day that are just having little tiny issues, and they'd love to be able to fix it, but they didn't quite get it. And we'll just talk through it, or we'll jump on FaceTime and I'll say, hey, show it to me. Yep. We got to do this real quick, or let me show you how to make this knot quick. And I don't know. To me, it's fun because I love getting people into fly fishing, because to me, it's the greatest sport you could ever do. Like I said, to clear your head. And again, tribe don't live in ugly places, so you got to be in the great nature. But I love getting people into the sport, and there's a lot of people that get intimidated by the sport because the barriers to entry for a lot of people are really, really high, but they don't have to be. So that's kind of. But when it comes down to customer service, to me, it's a funny thing that you know, just replying to somebody's email is like a big deal. Uh-oh. Is this the unboxing?
Yeah, I wanted to I was like, you know what? I'm going to show people who are watching right now all the stuff that actually came with this. Speaking of customer service, this is all what came with my order of Pescador on the Fly. Awesome carrying bag, carbon fiber net. There's a ton here. This amazing reel. I mean, quality line, which just like the items I've shown you already, guys, are probably, I don't know, $300 to $600. This,
Yeah, like we said, there's a lot of business models out there. This is El Jefe, boss. This one was reviewed in Fly Fisherman magazine, and they loved it, and it was super cool. But yeah, I mean, everything you need to hit the water. I just wanted to make it as easy as possible and over deliver the gear, right? And since I keep my overhead so low, I can give so much more value in gear for the price, and I love doing it because I don't have to pay middlemen. I don't have to pay for an expensive building that I'm maintaining. Low overhead's pretty big in a business model. Did El Jefe freeze the frame again? Oh, there we go.
I mean, this is guys. I'm talking bags of flies, line, carrying cases, rod holders. I mean, reels, nets, stickers, just an epic handwritten note. You can't get that from your average fly shop. So I highly recommend.
This is something I started doing probably about a year ago, and I put my own cell phone number on the back of the thank you card, and I write a handwritten thank you card to everybody that buys a combo from us. And I honestly appreciate the business from everybody, and I just want to let them know that I'm here for them. And most people really, really react to that in a positive way. And I'm really happy that people actually do reach out when they have an issue so I can help them fix it.
Yeah, because it's your baby and you care about your customer and you care about your product. And that's what I want to really, echo one more time to all the happy hustlers, guys. It's not all about the Benjamins. You got to care about the people you're serving, like Jeff does. Even in this fly fishing niche, he goes above and beyond. When just the quality product could be enough, he takes it a step further with quality customer service. He takes it a step further with putting his cell phone number on there, writing handwritten notes. Little things go a long way, especially right now to differentiate yourself in the market. So I highly recommend, if you're even considering getting into fly fishing, you got to check out Pescador on the Fly. I think we got code HAPPY set up, guys, to get the hookup. So if you want to save some money, get a high performance rod and reel combo with a ton of extra goodies, go to Pescador. And tell us what Pescador means on the Fly. Where'd you get that name?
So Pescador means fisherman in Spanish. And then on the Fly, my wife came up with this one. We were trying to figure it out back in the day. And she said, well, on the fly, kind of like on the go. And I'm just like, boom, well played. So that's where it came from. So fisherman on the go, Pescador on the Fly.
And it's a great.
This is our logo. This is the airplane deceiver. So it's an airplane and then a fly. So I get a ton of compliments on that one. So usually there's one of those stickers in the package too, because people just love that logo. And we do have some hats.
Yep.
There you go.
I got one too, and I mean it is a great name, and it really serves the mission, because you can take them anywhere. And that is a problem when you're a fly fisherman traveling. As Jeff mentioned, he scratched his own itch. First and foremost, he was traveling for his corporate job, and he's like, man, I want to take my fly rod. Well, how can I make it, smaller and more compact? So he created his own company, and that's how you can turn your passion into a profession. Guys out there listening, watching, think about what problems that you have that you're passionate about solving. That's what Jeff did. It's awesome to see it come to fruition. And especially what's really cool about Jeff is he's in the middle right now of still, working a day job, but also running his passion, and crushing both. So do you have any advice for people who might be juggling, the side hustle and the day job?
Like I said, it's all about time management, right? So there's no rocket science to it, but I think it's just important to know that if you stay disciplined to yourself and your time management, there's absolutely no reason you can't create a profitable side hustle to add reasonable, legitimate revenue to your bottom line. Maybe you use that revenue to save. Maybe you use it to supplement your income. Maybe you use it to eventually retire. But why not get paid for something you love doing anyway?
Yeah. That's the dream, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't find the fly rod I wanted, so I started a company, and now I got them. So it's great.
Talk to us. I'm just curious. Let's say someone is out there man, I want to create my own product, Jeff. I mean, just walk me through some of those mistakes that you learned so that people don't repeat those, and like how we can, effectively build a product or maybe even source it overseas
Yeah.
in an effective way without learning, the mistakes twice that you've already fallen
Yeah, we were
into.
talking about some of them earlier. I think it's if I sat down and thought about all the mistakes, I probably suppressed most of them because I don't want to remember most of them. But I probably should have wrote them down better. But I at the very beginning, I right before we got Pescador on the Fly going, I started another little venture, and I entered the market that got flooded by the time that I got there. So you got to make sure that it's not too crowded, right? But when it comes down to sourcing products, I mean, let's just be honest. The easiest way to go to source a product is Alibaba. And it's an incredible company, and you can meet all kinds of various contacts at various factories overseas that manufacture everything. So what I would say is that the process really comes down to first maybe trying to find 10 different factories that make something, right? And then you shoot out some messages. And obviously, you're dealing in foreign countries where there's a language gap. And some of them speak better English than others. And you got to make sure that you can communicate with them, because when I'm giving instructions on building a new rod or a new product or something like that, I speak at a very, very low level. And I overdo it when it comes down to specifics. It's like I don't just say, hey, I want this black. I want this flat black. Here's 6 pictures of items that are flat black. You agree, right?
Yeah.
And you have to do that. Otherwise, you can go down a road. And like I told you a story about one factory that I had built some fly rods. The samples came back great. I tested the fly rods probably 6 different times, and they fished great. And when I got the shipment of them, they were garbage. And I didn't realize they were garbage. The first couple that I tested, out of it, they were fine. And then I had a customer say, hey, I just snapped the tip doing nothing. And I said, all right. So I went back and checked all the inventory, and I started testing them, and 50% of them were snapping. So everybody that bought one sent them an email and said, hey, I need to know whether you've had any issues with the rod, because I want to replace it immediately, because I've already sourced these from another company, and I replaced them for everybody for free because I'm not putting my name on something that's crap. So I learned very, very, very carefully that you test and you test and you test before you bring it out. And that was a mistake that I learned pretty quick, where I trusted the first sample. I don't have any fly rods out there right now that I've only had one sample of. So it's what I have now is something I'll take with me anywhere I go. And like I said, I don't like to fish crappy fly rods. So yeah, but that was a big mistake. Is trusting a factory without getting really into it. So you got to be really careful, depending on the types of products you're. Some products are low cost deals that really don't. You can test it once and you can know immediately this is exactly what I'm trying to do. And that I would just say, you filter it down. So start out at 10, get it down to 3, and then maybe you pick one. But make sure you got backup factories too, because it's you never know which one's going to have issues.
That's a great point. Test, guys. You got to make sure you're testing, even if you don't have a legit, tangible product. Testing your funnels, your marketing copy, testing your emails. Like, the market gives you feedback, and being able to test. Actually acknowledge the feedback, look at the data, and then make educated decisions. Like Jeff actually replaced all those rods that were sent out. That cost his company greatly, but he did so to not, put his name on something that he wasn't proud of. And testing is essential, takeaway there, as well as just having integrity and standing behind your product. So love that, Jeff. Jeff, I want to get into the rapid fire round. This is where we talk about, basically random questions, and you just say first thing that comes to mind. All right. Are you ready?
It could get dangerous. I don't know.
I know it could. Favorite movie? Go.
River Runs Through It.
Favorite food? Great movie.
Pizza.
Favorite book?
Favorite book. I can't think of the name of it, but I've read it like 100 times. Darren Hardy's the author. Help me out. You know this. Oh, The Compound Effect. Yeah, Compound Effect.
Great book. What's your spirit animal?
Say that again. I missed you. I think I heard spirit animal. So I'm gonna go with Kodiak brown bear from Alaska, not the ones in your state. Sorry.
Best business advice.
Best business advice. Make sure you do your research before you pull the trigger.
If you could have one superpower.
Don't just trust another source. Do your research. Trust but verify.
That's good. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, the ability to go back in time.
I like it. One word you wish to be synonymous with your name for the rest of your life.
Credibility.
3 things you're most grateful for.
My family, my health, and my creativity.
Love it. Crush that rapid fire round, Jeff. Talk to us about where people can go to find out more about you, to learn more about fly fishing, Pescador on the Fly. Give us some links.
You know, our website is pescadoronthefly.com, Pescador onthefly.com. That's going to give you a little bit of information about the company, a little bit about fly fishing. We got a blog that's getting pretty popular, which is pretty fun. And then, you know, a little bit about us and my family. But that's probably the best source of information there.
Pescador on the Fly. They also have.
Don't forget the code HAPPY if you're interested in getting into fly fishing. And for whatever it's worth, I think everybody should get into fly fishing.
Yeah, I agree. It's just absolute bliss for me to be out on the river, you know, just slinging the rod back and forth, you know, the perfect cast, always searching for the perfect cast, never actually getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's so different from, you know, spin rod casting. There's an art to it. And I really do think everyone should get into fly fishing. It's so meditative, and truthfully, guys, I wouldn't put my name on, you know, Pescador on the Fly's products if I didn't believe in it, and I really do. You guys can get the hookup. Use code HAPPY. Go to Pescador on the Fly. Check it out. Highly recommend, you know, getting the El Jefe. That's the one I got. I got a 6 weight because, you know, it's top of the line stuff at an affordable price. We're talking a couple $100 versus a couple $1,000. It's crazy. But that's what happens when you run business, you know, efficiently and cut out the middlemen. So love that, Jeff. And, you know, really appreciate your time and sharing your love, your light, your wisdom with the Happy Hustlers. So thank you, brother, for this.
I appreciate you getting me on here. It's been really fun getting to know you. And I have a feeling you and I are going to be fishing together soon.
Oh yeah, man. Come out to Montana anytime.
Yeah.
Do you have any, you know, final words for the Happy Hustlers before I ask the final question?
You know, my only advice is that the world is a little weird right now. And the only thing I would say is that this is all going to pass, and that there's great things in everybody's future, and there's great things in the world coming. And I'm just incredibly grateful to be here. And, I'm stoked for the future.
Yeah, man. This too shall pass. All you Happy Hustlers, you know, keep on keeping on, persevere past the adversity. It will only make you stronger. So, you know, great points there, Jeff. And I'm grateful to be here as well. Final question. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Means having control over my own destiny, man, and not relying on other people. I love having control over what happens in the world, and I think you know, entrepreneurship is really the only place where you have it.
Love it. So well said, Jeff Ditsworth. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on the Happy Hustle podcast, and thank you all for watching and listening. Appreciate you. Peace and love.